Hey, we all want chemistry, right? Chemistry is that thing that people look for in a relationship. When they meet somebody new, they look to see if there's chemistry so that we can get an idea of how is this relationship going to go? How exciting is this going to be? How connected are we? Is this going to work? Chemistry is that je ne sais quoi. It's that unquantifiable. It's this element that people have a really hard time describing. But if it's not there, you know. You know it's missing. And sometimes we experience chemistry with somebody that we meet. We get really, really excited about them. And just because you have chemistry with somebody doesn't mean that you're supposed to have a romantic relationship with them. But I get it, because if you're single, there's a good chance that you want to be in a relationship. And this year has been super, super hard for single people. I mean, it's been hard for everybody. 2020 has been hard for everybody. It's been particularly hard for single people because of this idea of being touch starved and of not having any sort of romantic, physical, sexual contact. For the most part. Some single folks are still dating and like connecting with people, but a lot of them aren't. And it's also been hard for couples because either you've been like thrust into a deeper, more committed relationship than you are ready for, or the pandemic and the confinement and all that comes with that has like strained your relationship. So it's been hard for a lot of people. But this video, this podcast, this conversation isn't about how hard 2020 has been. That's next week. I promise you. We will talk about how hard this has been and how well you've done considering how hard this has been. This conversation is about this idea of chemistry and how it's required for relationships, but that how people, when they experience chemistry with someone, automatically go to this might be a romantic relationship that is worth exploring. And I want to be the first to say, quite possibly, that just because you have chemistry with someone doesn't mean you have to date them, or that you should date them, or that you should sleep with them. And I get it. I get the draw. I get the desire to want to explore romance and sex with someone that you have chemistry with, because chemistry, for the most part, is like pretty fleeting. It doesn't happen very often. Doesn't happen very often. And we just want it so bad that when we have it, just an inkling of it, we really want to explore, is this someone that I can be in a relationship with? And somehow that becomes the focus. Date or sleep with or have a relationship with the person that you have chemistry with. And the reality is that just because you have chemistry with someone doesn't mean they're a good fit to be in a relationship with, a romantic relationship. They might not be a good fit for a variety of reasons. They might not want what you want. They might not even be available for what you want. They might be in a relationship already. They might not want kids and you want kids. They might not live where you want to live and have no plans of living where you want to live. There might be a whole bunch of reasons why this person isn't a good fit, but because you have chemistry, you're going to try to make it fit. You're going to try to make a relationship work with someone just because there's chemistry. And chemistry is like, we can't really quantify it. It's hard to put our finger on it, but we know when we feel it. And I want to say that, like, just because there's chemistry doesn't mean I don't know, how can I say this in a really nice way? You don't always want to trust your gut when you feel chemistry, because it can be sort of like old programming, right? It could be your attachment style that's telling you this is something worth exploring, but maybe it's actually something not worth exploring. Maybe it's a warning sign. The chemistry, the increase in desire can actually be a warning sign based on your attachment styles, based on how you were raised growing up. Maybe the connection that you have with someone feels very familiar to a connection that you had growing up. And that connection might not have been healthy. And this one might not be healthy either for a relationship. So the whole point is that just because you have chemistry with somebody doesn't mean that you're going to be good in a relationship. Maybe you're supposed to be friends. Maybe you're supposed to be colleagues. Maybe you're supposed to open up a taco truck together. Maybe you're supposed to be badminton partners or running partners or thrifting buddies. Chemistry is good for all relationships, not only romantic ones. And just because there's chemistry doesn't mean that it's worth exploring romance. There might be a whole bunch of reasons that you're overlooking why this isn't a good fit romantically, but could be a great fit for a whole bunch of other stuff. It's great to have friendship chemistry. It's great to have work chemistry. And I know that it's enticing to want to try to date everybody that you have chemistry with. But I want to invite you to ask yourself, is this person actually a good fit? Other than the great chemistry that we have together, that's fun and flirty and cool and playful and exciting, is this person a good fit? Do they want what I want? Is there a potential here? Or is this just exciting? And on the flip side, is chemistry required for a relationship, for a romantic relationship? Do you need chemistry in your romantic relationship? And that's a really good question. Can you have a successful, fulfilling, loving relationship and not have any chemistry? That's a really hard question to answer. I think in long-term relationships, chemistry ebbs and flows. Your connection ebbs and flows. Your desire to connect intimately ebbs and flows based on where you're at, based on how open you are, based on what's going on in your life, how many of your needs are being met, how stressed out you are. Right now, a lot of people are really stressed out. And so it can be hard to feel chemistry for your partner, or to feel connection, or to feel desire for your partner. And I think it ebbs and flows. And when it ebbs, you figure out, okay, how can we come back together and find some loving ways for us to reconnect? And when it flows, just enjoy it. I was going to say ignore it, but no, enjoy it. Can you have a loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with someone that you don't feel any chemistry with? That would be really challenging for me. I've never experienced that. I've never experienced a long-term, committed, fulfilling, exciting relationship with someone I don't feel any chemistry with. Does that mean that you can't? I don't think so. I think that some people can choose to be in a relationship with each other, and that they know this is a good person and we can have a loving relationship. Might not be the most exciting one, but it fills some of my needs. Maybe it fills my needs for connection, community, family. And maybe that's enough for you. Maybe you didn't have that growing up and you really want that for your life. And so you'll forego chemistry to have some of your other needs met. That's totally valid. But maybe you want passion, excitement, and adventure. And if there's a lack of chemistry in your relationship, that might not work for you. So it's more about figuring out, like, what's important to me. Chemistry is not important for everybody. If it's important for you, then you're going to prioritize it. Now, remember, chemistry is good for all relationship. It doesn't mean you can't have a good relationship without it. And it doesn't mean that if it's there, you're supposed to be in a relationship with this person. Chemistry is something that draws us to somebody, that entices and invites curiosity into this person, into the thing that we can build together. I think chemistry is that thing that keeps us interested until we can build a more solid foundation. And I think a more solid foundation, a deeper intimacy, ultimately is more sustainable than chemistry, which might be short-lived. That's it. Just a little riff on chemistry and its role and how important it may or may not be in your life and in your relationships. And an invitation for you to explore chemistry and to look at it and to see how important is this? How crucial is it to my relationship? And if I feel chemistry with somebody, what other forms of relationship could we have other than just the romantic one, which is sort of the default one that we look at because society tells us that if you're in a relationship, you're more successful than people who aren't, which is bullshit. Relationships are hard. They're hard to maintain. They're hard to build. They're hard to find people to be in a relationship with. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you.